Alright, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you. Gorgeous day here in Morgantown, West Virginia. We're here on campus of WVU, and we're fixing to head north. We're going to bring you guys along for the ride. If you're interested, stay, like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think. Put my gloves on too soon. It's about 84 degrees, give or take. Clear skies. Should be some moderate traffic heading out of Morgantown. And then we have two options at that point. We can go back on the highway, or we can take some back roads and hit some little towns. We can pass through Point Marion and Smithfield if we choose to. If we go the little town back route, we can probably see some nice sights, and I think that's the direction we're gonna go. So let's go ahead and back out of here. And hit this road. What do you think? We'll get some gas. Put her in sport mode. So really nothing in particular to talk about on this ride, but we are going to finally run our Insta360 GPS remote correctly, paired up with the Insta360 X2 camera with the correct settings to get some decent footage, and ultimately we'll get the overlays. It's what we've been trying to get for some time now, and I've managed to screw it up a couple times, but I got the settings correct. Last time I had it on a standard setting and point of view, and you know, everything linked up fine, but all I got was footage of the clouds, of the sky, and that's not beneficial to anybody. So though the sky is gorgeous, it doesn't do us any good staring at the sky for 2 hours. So we got nothing but the GoPro footage for the trip out to Mingo Park that I shared with you guys. So hopefully this will be some decent footage. We'll get the perspective from the front of the bike and 360 degrees around the bike with the Insta360 camera, and we'll have our driver's perspective, rider's perspective off of our GoPro. So everything should go well. We should have plenty of camera, battery juice, and SD card space for both cameras for this ride. This ride should take about an hour and 15-20 minutes. We do have to stop and get gas, so that'll add to the time, but we should be cool. See a couple sights on the way. We got down in Point Marion, you have the rivers meet there, and it's you cross. There's a couple bridges down there, and we cross a bridge, and it's a couple really cool views down there. It's down in the valley, and then Smithfield's just a little small town right there on the way, a little further on. Nothing monumental there, just letting you guys know where we're heading through. Ride down this morning was chilly. It was about 49 degrees when I left, 3:15, 3:20 in the morning. So the ride down was very chilly. I had the new Sedici, I think it's called the Padeo jacket on. I had the liner that it comes with zipped in, and I had a hoodie on underneath that. My core, the jacket was chilly, but I wasn't cold. I was cold on my hands because I didn't wear my heavy duty gloves. These are kind of a moderate middleweight type of glove that I wore, and you know, my hands were cold. I did have to stop for a moment and kind of work out the whole hand thing. About 25 miles into the ride. Keep in mind it's a 57-mile ride down here from my place, so we stopped halfway, got the blood flowing in the legs and on the hands, and then we drove on from there. No big deal. We're 1,695.5 miles on the RYKER as of this moment in time. Looks like we're a little below half a tank of gas, and like I've said in multiple videos, you know, when the gas is low, that's sketchy. So once we get through this traffic up here at this light, that kind of, when we get down the hill and there's a second light and we get through all that nonsense, we'll stop and get some gas, and then we should have pretty much a straight shot from there. No stops anyways. I'm going to sit down and do a thorough review on this jacket. I want to share with you guys my initial thoughts. I've got not a lot of time in it, but I've got a couple hours in the jacket now, and probably close to 100 miles, over 100 miles in the jacket. Definitely by the end of the day I'll have over 100 miles in the jacket. And I've worn it in temps as low as 49 and temps as high as 85, 86 the other day. So we've had it in a pretty decent temp range, utilizing it both in the mornings and the afternoons. So I have some decent information to share with you. The toughest thing for me with sizing a jacket is, I guess I'm just an odd shaped person, but you know, getting the waist fit, the chest fit, the shoulders fit, and the arms and elbows fit, it's difficult. It's not easy to do. And on this jacket here, for instance, everything seems to fit perfect except for the tightness of the elbow, or the sleeve. But the sleeve is good. The flexibility when I'm bending my arm and holding the handlebars is all very good. Waist and chest seems to be very good. Just seems to be those elbow pads. Now I could probably, you know, double those up or do something to help keep them in place a little better, and that would make a difference. But maybe I'm missing something. You know, I've only been riding for 2 years now, and probably my biggest challenge, and I think a big challenge for any new rider, is going to be you know, sizing your jacket, getting the proper fit on a jacket. I mean, in all honesty, I have literally been to 4 different places, and I've tried online. Online was a complete nightmare. You try to do the sizing chart, measurements, and buy something offline. I've had to return 2 jackets like that, and that was just nightmarish. It didn't work for me. You know, they're either going to be really too small, or they're going to be too big, or, you know. So I've gone in person for the last 3 jackets that I've bought, and even with being there in person, you know, you try on, I did, dozens of jackets, and trying to find that proper fit, you know. And I did this not blindly, but you know, watching videos on knowledgeable folks that are trying to explain to you what the process is and what you're looking for, and it's just very difficult for me to find all of those wear points that are correct for my jacket to fit 100% correctly. Now, if I wear an undergarment under here, it's a perfect fit in the arms. But I don't know. Maybe you guys, if you guys are riders, you could leave me some comments and let me know maybe some things I'm overlooking or doing incorrectly. So we're taking the back road home here. If you've noticed, if you're paying attention, we're going to do this all the way up there, and what we'll do is we're just skirting some back roads. Eventually we'll skirt the river for a little ways, and then we'll cross into PA from West Virginia, and then I'll point out some things that might be of some interest. This 360 setup that I have that you've seen in the last several videos, if you watched any of the ones from my previous releases, my most recent releases, this 360 setup coming off the front, I really like that. I like that perspective of you catching the rider of the bike. Insta360 on their accessory page for their cameras, they sell a U-bolt camera. I can't remember the correct verbiage that they use there, but it was a U-bolt camera mount, and you know, it's for you putting on a circular metal portion of the bike and you clamp it around, and it's not one of these where you tension clamp it, but not one of these twist clamps, but an actual screw clamp. And I'm going to get one of those for, if you guys look at some of my older videos, I had the Insta360 mounted on the back of the seat bracket here, and I got that really cool perspective of looks like a drone is chasing you while you're riding the bike. So I'm in pursuit of that again. So that mount was like 27 or 31 bucks, and that way I don't have to undo this mount here. This can be a dedicated mount here for the front of the bike, where I can do a short hookup, unhook the selfie stick, or utilize the selfie stick, and then I'll have the U-bolt connection on the back there for the trailing video. And then of course we've already decided and have proven the worth of this particular GoPro setup. It's about as centered as I can get it for this particular helmet without buying some customized mounting systems for the helmet, and I'm happy with this. I think the perspective and the view is sufficiently centered and gives some good quality video. So we won't stop at this gas station, but the next one down the road, just a piece, maybe a mile down the road. It's just a little less hectic than this one. Yeah, with this jacket, you've got the mesh on the arms, the mesh on the chest. You really do get a lot of airflow into your core. Underneath your underarms, across your arm, tops of your arms, into your chest. Very pleasant. You don't overheat. I'm not doing a lot. My back, you know, I feel a little sweat on my back building up. Of course, I do have this little backpack on for my gear. Not a lot, just a little one, but you know, it does lay on your back and creates a hot spot, but not uncomfortable by any means. My older jacket, before I lost all this weight, was a much it was a heavier jacket. It was a multi-seasonal jacket. It was a Scorpion jacket. I talked about it in some of my older videos, but it was never really sufficient for the hot weather, because you only had the 2 vent pockets at the top, but you really never caught enough air in that, and it was a really hot jacket. Great for the cold weather, and I would still utilize it if it fit, but I have most recently changed, probably within the last 4 months, changed my eating habits, cut out almost all my sugar intake and fried food and candy and cakes, and never really drank sodas, but cut most of that out, and I'm down about 30 pounds now, so that makes a big difference. And I'd like to go ultimately another 15, maybe 20 pounds more, and really reach my target weight. So we're going to fuel up real quick here. So this will be kind of boring for a moment, but we'll bring you along for the fueling. Because quite honestly, when I first got the bike, I was concerned about the fueling process too. You just have to be careful. So we have to take all of our gear off in order to get to our wallet. So we'll do that real quick. But I do want to bring you guys along for the ride. We'll try to get to maybe 2.5 gallons in. Up to 2. We might be able to go 3. Yeah, I think we can go 3. Alright, so 3 gallons. We're going to make sure we get all the drips out. Once we're confident with that, we'll turn it over, move it quickly over here, and hang her back up. Not too bad, right? I know it seems kind of silly to video that, but quite honestly, you don't want to drip fuel everywhere, and it can be kind of stressful, right? So we're all good there. So now we need to gear back up. Make sure our bag's all zipped up. Throw her over our shoulder. Get her all connected up. Find that into that strap. There she is. Alright, tighten her up to a reasonable tightness. Make sure our jacket's squared away. And let's get ready to hit the road. So not too bad, right? Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming along on the refuel. Alright, here we go. A lot of traffic all of a sudden. I think we'll sit here in the shade for a brief moment while that all gets sorted out. What do you think? Make sure we're filming. Yep, we are. Great. Alright guys, let's hit the road. Let's I don't like that particular stick out of there. Let's put that brake on again. There we go. I like to get that lengthy perspective sometimes off the front of the bike. So here we go. guess the sleep evaluation center must have just let out. Might be where all this traffic's coming from. The old sleep lab. Looks like we have a full tank of fuel. Back in sport mode. Alright guys, let's what do you say we hit the road? Looks like our GPS remote is still connected with our camera. Seems to be going well. And we're all fueled up. Like I said earlier, just look at those skies. What a gorgeous day. Perfect day for riding. I know we got some rain in the forecast next week. But as far as today is concerned, absolutely wonderful. It's really nice to hit those shadowy spots on the roads, or when you dip down into the valleys, you can really feel those temperature changes. Really nice. I really got to come up with a little something. That footage we'll get off that camera will be fine, but you can see that I get that drift to the right just a little bit. Stitch line still should be okay. We got a car behind us, so even though I might want to creep through and maybe show you guys something, I need to be aware of that. Don't want to be a nuisance to those folks. 1954 Chevy there for sale. This road's got a couple nice little twisties on it and turns, and we drop down a hill and go up a hill. It's a pleasant ride. I don't like to ride this in the morning. I'd rather ride the highway down just because of how wooded this is. There's enough wildlife obstacles out on the highway. I don't need to, you know, compound that by 10 by being on this road at 4 o'clock or 4:15 in the morning. Every once in a while you'll see this guy has some pigs. See him up here lounging by the side of the road, but not today. I'm by no way, I'm not an expert at all. I'm not even, I wouldn't even say I'm up to speed yet. You know, there's a lot I still need to learn and master on this bike here and all the gear. It's still quite a learning process for me, you know, 2 years in. But I'm still going to go up. I think I'm going to do a dedicated video on the gear that I'm using, the gear that I tried to use, just to give you guys an idea of what I've had to go and what I had to go through to find the gear that felt good and was comfortable and still was rated safe and appropriate for the rides. All right, we're crossing the line, Mason-Dixon line. Welcome to Pennsylvania. Goodbye to West Virginia. Wild and wonderful. Yeah, I do want to do a video on my gear. I've tried a couple helmets. You know, I went through some helmets. I tried some different helmets. This Sedici helmet is by far my favorite so far. the amount of vision you get with the angle of the helmet and the windscreen, the fit, the comfort, and the reputation of the helmet I've seen on several videos, and I've actually read a couple reviews on the helmet too, but I've seen nothing but, for the price point, you know, you're talking a $200 to $300 helmet, maybe a $250 to $300 and some dollar helmet. So that would be, I don't know what that would be considered, you know, maybe not a cheap helmet, but maybe a mid-range helmet, or a mid-range beginner's helmet maybe. But nothing but solid interviews on the product. You know, most everybody has had nothing but positive things to say about the helmet. If I were to do it again, and I've mentioned this previously, I would have bought the I would have saved and bought the Scenic Strata with the comms built into it. And, you know, I went and rigged up my own rig. I had an existing rig set up for my ATV, or my quad, my Polaris 570. The off-road helmet that I had a mic set up and all that, and speakers and etc. So I just transferred that gear into this helmet. I really need to get back. I really need to get back to riding that helmet a little bit. I really need to get back to riding the quad and shooting some more videos on that. I've really haven't done that in quite some time. And that's a lot of fun. Those are fun videos to make. Pretty much completely opposite of these type of videos. You're out there in mud holes and tearing stuff up. I really enjoy this though. I really enjoy this bike and making videos using this bike. It's a lot of fun. This is probably the most people and car traffic I've seen down here in ages. Try to be nice to folks. Nobody behind me, so nobody to upset. Alright, so I didn't mention it. I've got caught up in talking about other things, but that was Point Marion back there, and this is the bridge, and this is where the two rivers meet off to my left, and we're sitting a little too low for you to get a good shot of that. But you have both rivers come in and meet, and a lot of wonderful fishing to do down there. Walleye and sauger and smallmouth bass and muskie, catfishing. A couple dams, one on either end that you could utilize, go up to and fish. But that is the little town of Point Marion. I meant to talk a little more about it and got completely sidetracked. Never eaten there. Don't know if there's any good places to eat down in there. I know there's a pizza shop and a sub shop, but I don't think they have any really good restaurants down in there, not that I'm aware of. But visually you will have seen it. I just wasn't talking about it because I was yapping about other stuff. I really wish this dang thing up here wouldn't twist like it is. Wow, this lady is really driving slow. Like almost to the point where it's a hazard. My level of comfort on this bike is really fantastic. With the foam grips, the floorboards for your feet, and the comfort seat. Properly adjusting your handlebars to the proper length of reach, so you just got a little bend in your elbows. You know, you're not straining to reach them or having to lean too far forward. Your feet are naturally bent. They're not fatigued. you have the proper angle on your floorboards. All those things have come into play, and it's just a real joy to ride the bike. I don't know how it is out where you guys are, you viewers, but they seem to build Dollar Generals about every, in a really heavy populated area, it seems like every mile or so. But if you're out in kind of the back roads like this, they still seem to be every 5 or 6 miles. Excuse me, maybe every 10. You come across a lot of Dollar Generals co-located within close distance of one another, in my opinion, at least up here in Pennsylvania. I really enjoyed making that last video that I put out where we went up to Mingo Creek. That was a lot of fun. Park's a lot of fun to visit. It's a nice ride, enjoyable ride. We did it at the perfect time of day. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making that video. Still a lot of things blooming, and I'm catching the smell of those things blooming through the helmet, man. I love this time of year, the spring and late spring and early summer, man. I enjoy the hell out of it. Everything's blooming and smells great, and I just really appreciate that. Of course, if you have a lot of allergies, I can see where that would be, where you would feel a little differently about everything blooming. You may not be as happy about it as I am. I think Can-Am could have made the control screen, or the screen up here with all your data on it, miles per hour, miles, temp, what mode you're in, etc. I think they could have spent a little more money and put out something just a little bit bigger. Maybe something with a white background and black lettering. It would have been a little bit easier to see. Maybe something, you know, just 2 inches wider all around. I think would be a monstrous improvement. If you changed it to a killer screen, that would even be better. And if they do make that, you know, they should make it to play with any previous RYKER. If you wanted to upgrade to a better screen, I think that would be a good thing to have. I really do. These vents on the Scenic helmet and the exhaust on the back, they all seem to work really well for me. Now keep in mind, you know, I shave my head, so me not having a head full of hair could definitely impact, and you know, your mileage may vary, but for me, you know, there's times where I've had to shut vents because the airflow is just too heavy, or it's a little too chilly out and I'm just getting too much, or making my eye water, or what have you. But even on these warmer days, you know, I get a ton of airflow through that chin vent and those 2 top vents. It just really works out well. And I think it exhausts really well too. I think there's 2 different places on the back of the helmet for the exhaust. Alright, so we're coming up into Smithfield, a little town. They still have their flags up from Memorial Day. You could close your eyes and we'll be in and out of here. Little pizza shop. I think there's a diner up here. Yeah, there you go, Smithfield Diner. I don't know if there's anything else up in here or not. I know they got a little hardware store and gas station, Family Dollar. We got our Waze app up like we always do. If you haven't tried it, check it out. Try to sit up straight and find myself leaning in towards the front of the bike here. Alright, so that was Smithfield. You guys saw it. Windmills up there on the ridge line. Another Dollar General. So we could go straight and get to Uniontown, or we can go out onto 43. I think we'll go out onto 43 just so we can stretch our legs just a little bit. Put a zip tie up here and keep it from bouncing, but we still get a little drift and a little twist. Getting on here is usually not too crazy, and the traffic's usually not too bad. The traffic up on 51 is normally worse. Something floating around in my damn shield got in my eye. It's the last thing I need. Something in my damn eye. Alright, we did not have a chance to adjust that camera, so let's get up to operating speed and hit the road here. Get a lot of headwind. Always. On 43, tons of wind. Keep an eye on this guy here. He may not see me. Yeah, we're getting a lot of lift on the helmet. Probably should tuck down a little bit, get the aerodynamic a lot of headwind. Yeah, you can feel it just buffering us around. That wind is something. We'll tone it down now. A lot of fun, even though we did catch a lot of strong wind there. I usually don't experience a lot of lift, even if we're going fast. Seem to be competing with a lot of headwind there, though. Never like to ride by these guys. Wow, a lot of airflow on the old chest. Feels good. Really nice road right here. Recently they've redone all this, and this is a pleasure to ride on. Smell those trees blooming right there. Very nice. So we'll be getting off up here on Pittsburgh Street. And then turning on to 51. There we go. We got our adjustment in. Very nice ride so far. Temp's good. Gas is good. 1,721 miles. We've really, since our 1-year review, we've really packed on some miles. IML or ILM gloves are doing really well. Very comfortable. I might eventually look at some Scenic gloves, since I've am utilizing a larger and larger portion of their product line. Another cool thing about that map overlay that we should have, I think it'll work this time, it tracks our miles and our route. So it'll be interesting to see that all play out too. I know the trip is about 57 miles, but it'll be neat to see what the overlay tracks. I usually carry a bottle of water with me in the trunk up there, or the frunk. I need to come up with another way, a better solution to quickly get to something to drink without having to get up off the seat of the bike while we're moving, or while we're still in traffic or sitting at a light or something. I've seen the cup holders. I guess I could go that route. There are so many deer on this route right here, Route 51, on the way down in the mornings. It's incredible. Tremendous amount of deer.